So the first thing we do is open up Adobe Premiere, because that is what we use. So you can see I've got a couple of projects here I've been working on, but we will just start with a new project here on the left. So there's a lot of information that comes up right here, and the main thing we need to focus on is the name being Dark City. That way you don't get it confused with other things, and we want to have a location for it. What I like to do is click on Browse, and then I basically go down until I find my desktop, and I put all my footage in the same folder. So when I put my project in this same folder. So if I click on this, what I've done is basically told the project that it needs to be saved in this Dark City folder. So I don't have a folder with a bunch of different projects. Everything I need is going to be here. If I'm doing audio effects that I get from somewhere else, if I'm doing a picture, maybe somebody took a picture and I want it, all my assets for my video are going to go in this folder. And I want to tell the project that it needs to be saved in this folder as well. We don't really need to worry about anything else, naming it and telling it where it's going to go. And so now we have Adobe Premiere up. And it looks a little daunting, and there is a whole lot of this program that you can do. And I want to keep it as simple as we can. So we'll kind of work in a zigzag pattern. Hopefully your screen looks like this. If for some reason it's a little bit different, you can always go up to Window at the top, Workspaces, and go to Reset Save Layout. And it should essentially go to the default layout, which is basically what we have set up here. Now you can see there's this little blue line around this box. That means that this box is selected. If I click down here, it moves here. Click over here, it moves here. So we're going to start off in this one down here. It should say Project Dark City right here. And you can already see it's import media to start. So it's already kind of prompting us to get moving along. Up here, one thing you might get confused, if your layout looks different than mine, you probably want to be under editing. It might be under assembly or color, effects, audio, because sometimes different layouts work for different things. Like if you're trying to do audio, you want to have your audio meters set up. But right now we're going to be editing. So we'll make sure that we're on editing right here. So back to the project window down here. What I can easily do is right click and import. I can also go to File, Import. There's like 10 ways to do everything in this program. File, and I can go to Import. And I think I might even be able to create a new bin. Yeah, those are the main ways. So I right click, import, and I want to select everything. It already knows I'm trying to go in for a Dark City folder. And there's my project right there. But I know all my video clips are in 100 Canon. So I double click on it. And I've got a couple of clips because I was not smart and I did not format my card. So I've got clips from another class, but I know I want this one. And I'm going to hold down Command on the keyboard and select this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now another thing, if they're not selected, I can click and drag these and then maybe hold down Shift and click this one and this one. So you can select them in different ways. And I'm going to click Import. All right, so I've got all my videos in here. Now again, if I had a song that I want to put over, I could put it right here and import it. If I had some other asset like a menu or something, I could put it here. If somebody made a graphic, a title scene, I could add it down here as well. So these are all my clips right here. And I can kind of move, if I'm just move my mouse back and forth, I can kind of scrub through it a little bit and just see what the video looks like. And you can see they're all labeled down here. You can right click and rename this and do a whole lot of stuff. But essentially I've got all my clips right here. And I just left click to select them. So I know that this is going to be essentially the beginning of my movie. I've got kind of a wide shot of the person coming in. So I'm going to double click it and it pops up here in this screen here. So this is our source project window. And I can watch the video clip that I have here and see that it's 42 seconds long and I guess 17 frames. And so I can play. So I can play through this, watch my video clip, whatever I want to do. And I can kind of fast forward, move it along through here, or whatever I want. Now I think it worked pretty well for this opening scene. So let's say, here's the main thing we need to look at. When I start off this scene, roll camera, and somebody yelled action. So the first thing, we don't want all that audio where somebody's yelling action and, you know, rolling camera and all that stuff. So I'm going to back it up a little bit right before she talks. I'm just moving the cursor, this little blue cursor right here, and I'm going to hit play. I know that's about where I want it, somewhere right there. So now that I have this right here, I'm going to select this as my endpoint. So I go to this little bracket and I hit the endpoint. You can see it highlights everything that we're going to use. So I go through my clip and I can hit play. So they just said to each other, what happened? What happened next, Frank? Nothing happened. So I'm thinking I may want to change to another angle. And luckily I have plenty of angles down here. So I'm just going to play through it. So I stop it right there. So she says, what happened, Eddie? Now I don't want any more of this scene right here. So I'm going to click this out point right here. And here's the thing. I've trimmed this video clip down, and if you shoot video on your cell phones, you can see how you can trim things down. So this is my video clip that I'm going to use right here, this little highlighted gray bar. What I can do is I can just drag this down, and I can drop it into my sequence. And the great thing about this is once I drop it into the sequence, it's going to automatically read the footage and figure out like what the frame rate is, what the size of the resolution is, and basically what kind of video it is. So if I just release it, it'll automatically make a timeline for me and it'll set up the sequence to match what I recorded it in. So if I recorded this on my iPhone, it's going to have a little bit different look to it and different settings in it, and it's automatically going to detect that. So I'm just going to drop it in here and let go with my mouse. And so now a lot of stuff has happened. My timeline is opened up. This is going to be the timeline where I add all my video clips. And I've got a program window up here that is opened up that's basically showing me a preview of what my timeline actually looks like. So if I drag my playhead forward or just hit play, I can hit play over here now. So it's simultaneously playing up here while it's playing through the sequence down here. So I'm going to hit play. So now I'm going to stop it. And you can see that if I press the arrow keys on the keyboard, I move one frame forward. And I can move one frame backward. I'm just tapping the arrow keys on the bottom kind of right side of the keyboard. So I'm going to get to the frame that is the very last frame. Right there. So it turns black. Nothing else is here. Now I'm going to go back to my other clips over here. And I'm going to find a spot where the action picks up again. And we probably want to do maybe this clip here. Let's see what this is. Okay, so she said nothing happened, Frank. Where did we end on? What happened, Eddie? And then I've got up here. Okay, so I've got that last line. So she's going to talk the next, she's going to speak the next line. And so I probably want to start right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark an endpoint here. Okay, so at this point, she says there's been all over the city, there's no way out, no way out. Now, I know the next thing, I believe, is that she is going to throw a shoe. So let's see who we got. Okay, she had forgotten that we hadn't reset since the original filming, and so she didn't have the shoe that she was going to throw. So she just pretends to throw something, right? So as she pretends to throw it, I'm going to mark an out point, because I know that I got a shot of her throwing that thing earlier. So now I'm marking out point, and all I have is this section right here. So I can click and drag it down here to the timeline, and it's going to kind of snap into place. As long as you've got this little magnet right here selected, it's going to snap into place. And if you ever run into any problems, hit Command Z, and it'll back you up. So I'm going to show that again. I just click and drag it over here, and I get closer and closer and closer, and it snaps right into place. So now I'm going to back it up a little bit, and I'm going to play it, and we're just going to see how this looks. Okay, good. So we have a good transition in between these two different shots, right? We've got a wide shot of both of them, and then we got an over the shoulder of her looking down and saying her lines. Now let's say let me back up one, Command Z, and so I'm back here. Let's say I had messed up. So how does this start off? Me talking. So let's say I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention, and I mark my endpoint here. So I click this little button, mark my endpoint here, and I'm like, oh, okay, great, this is going to be good. So I put it right there, just like I did before, and let's watch it. So I hit spacebar, and basically I paused the video. I realized that she repeats herself because I didn't get the right endpoint. So what I can do down here, you see that little red bar? I can click and drag that, and it's going to snap to where this blue line is, my playhead. So if I click and drag that direction, now I am set. Now I've got a gap here in this little spot, so I need to fix that. Now since I just have these two video clips, this is pretty easy. I just want to right click and ripple delete, and here's my edit.
And then what? What happened, Eddie? Nothing happened.
Perfect. So I get to the end of this one, and I'm going to use my arrows just to make sure I'm right there. Or I could just like back it up a little bit, play it. And it's right there. So now I know she throws something across the room, and I got a couple of shots of that over here, and they're probably not that great, but okay, so I've got her throwing it, essentially, and I've got this little spot right here. So I'm going to mark an endpoint, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to stop it pretty fast. Now I'm going to get an out point, and I'm just going to put that right here and let it snap into place. And so let's see. Not perfect, but you know, we know what it's trying to say. So I'll get to that end point again. And so now I need to get the next scene. Now, I'm not real sure what it is. I could go to my wide and see what we got. Okay, so this is where she throws the thing. So we even could use that angle right there, but all right, so the next line is, you're scaring your wife to death, Eddie. And this is a pretty good line for her. So let's see if we got a better shot of her right here saying that line.
You're scaring your wife to death, Eddie.
All right, good.
You're scaring your...
So right here, I got an endpoint, play it.
You're scaring your wife to death, Eddie.
And then we got, let's just have that one line right there. So just to recap, we've added clips to our project window. We've moved them up into the source window and trimmed them down using the marking in and out points, and then we've moved them over in the timeline in our sequence. So these first few steps are the basics to everything you need to know to begin editing.